Hello. It's July 31st, maybe? Or maybe it's the 30th. We can check really quick. Yeah, it's the 31st, so the last day of July. This month has been extremely difficult for me. Things were going really well at the beginning of July. And I don't have any therapists, so it's kind of hard to process things. I want to get some water. So it's difficult. I don't have a therapist, don't have a doctor, don't have anything really besides myself. And it can be really difficult to process my feelings and what's going on. What I do know is I love to sing, and I like to help people too. And I love making videos. But when life gets really difficult, I tend to run away from the things that I'm passionate about and go towards the things that are comfortable and numbing. I think a lot of people do that. For example, with social media, that's a big thing for me. Also video games for me. Some people do television. And it sabotages you. It sabotages your progress. And you can have a bunch of grace and compassion with yourself, but it still sabotages you. I might need to start looking at showing up to work similar to how I look at like going to the gym every day. Just a little bit every day, making money, you know? It's hard for me to pinpoint why this is, but it's very difficult for me to show up to a regular job every day, day in and day out. And part of it is because I start to become the scapegoat of the business. And I think that has to do with being autistic sometimes, where you're weird and you're a little bit different and you can't get things intuitively. You need people to explain them. And so I work at a place and then I end up getting treated like trash or like I'm stupid slowly, and it becomes unbearable. And I just stop giving a shit to show up, you know? But I've been for the past month really sabotaging everything. I've probably honestly played, could be like 150 hours of video games. Easily. I have an alarm every day that says, surround yourself with rich people. What that means to me is surrounding yourself with people who are successful and goal-oriented and focused. And my next door neighbor, she's manipulative and uninspired and lazy and drinks brandy all day and smokes cigarettes, and she's 73 and she has no teeth. Not going to get anything from her that's valuable, useful advice. And there's a girl we're friends with who's younger, a little bit older than me, and she's very nice to my next door neighbor. But she hasn't realized, like, this woman has showed us who she is, and at this point we're just being nice to her because we don't want her to be lonely and sad and feel bad. But at the end of the day, she's still a 73-year-old woman without teeth who smokes cigarettes and drinks alcohol all the time and is very negative and complains about things. and complains and is in scarcity and gives a bunch of stuff away, gives a bunch of time away, gives a bunch of energy away, volunteers a shit ton instead of doing things that might make her more money and pull her out of the hole. So spending time around people will rub off on you. Likewise, I have a friend who, I'm really sad actually, he's turned to a drug, one of the worst drugs you could turn to, and I can't spend time around him anymore. He wanted to come into my apartment to hang out, and I kind of knew he was doing drugs, and I said, okay, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. And he was like, okay, well, let's just not hang out then. And I was like, holy shit, you're doing those drugs? And I don't want to be around drug addicts without a job, without a career, without a business. What's that going to give me? Nothing. I have another friend she's very, very depressed. Her emotions are very, very chaotic, and she struggles a lot with mental health. She's really deep in debt, and she's graduating college, and she sort of gets crippled by her own anxiety sometimes. I was giving her a lot of help, energy, and time for free without getting anything in return. I need to stop helping people. I have another friend I play video games with, and he's unemployed. He has an injury. He's on like Canadian unemployment, and he plays video games all day. He drinks soda, he eats pizza, and he plays video games all day long. And I've been playing video games all day long with him, and it's been very fun. I have another friend who's retired, plays video games all day long. These people are not inspiring me to be the person I need to and want to fucking be. And I need a wake-up call. Stop being nice to people. If you don't want to trade places with them in life, why are you close to them? It's kind of just the truth here. Where we're at, we need to just wake up, have a wake-up call. I need to make an invoice for a job that I got. I need to organize my bills for the month. Not the month, but like next month, basically. My water's ready. Lost about 4 pounds. I need to start making YouTube videos again. Like gaming, like what the fuck? I want to do gaming YouTube videos. I want to do singing every day. I haven't been eating properly. I haven't been doing a lot of things. I haven't been hydrating, haven't been eating properly. I haven't been making YouTube videos. I haven't been going door to door looking for clients. I haven't been applying to jobs. I haven't been cleaning my emails. I haven't been planning my weeks or my days. I haven't been going to the gym. I've lost 4 pounds. That's a lot of weight. It's effortless for me to lose. I was physically neglected as a child, which means you weren't fed or taken care of with your physical needs. And so what that means is it sort of warps you as an adult, and you sometimes struggle to take care of yourself because no one took care of you, and so you don't do it for yourself as an adult. And so like starving myself is very normal and comfortable because it's what I had to live with as a kid. My parents aren't like wicked people. They were just busy. busy working, and, didn't often have time to make me food. And when you're really little, you don't even know how to do anything for yourself, so you just starve, basically. And then a lot of parents like that will also praise their children and say, "You're so low maintenance, you're so easy to take care of. I don't have to ever water this flower and it still grows." That's not the case. The children are just pretending they don't have needs to survive. Because when you express that you're hungry, when you express that you're needing to be fed, it's usually, "Ugh, I'm so tired," or "Ugh, I worked 8 hours, 10 hours today. I don't have time or energy to feed you. Ugh, can't you just feed yourself?" Sort of thing. And especially when you don't have a feminine mother, feminine mothers are usually the type of mothers that like to cook and nurture and tend to your emotions and your physical needs. If you have a more masculine mother, sometimes the father doesn't want to do fucking anything that's feminine and doesn't want to nurture or take care. And so then you have nobody. And that was the case for me. But we can't change our childhood, but we can understand how it's affected us, and that's how mine affected me. So whenever I go through periods of stress, sometimes I stop eating. My brother is like this as well, because he was raised with me. And then you slowly lose weight and starve yourself to death. And it's quite sad. But yeah, that's how I'm doing right now. I'm tired. I was extremely, extremely fucking lonely yesterday night and the night before, and I've been trying to figure out, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I got a degree to be a personal trainer. I got a degree to be a personal trainer. And I don't even know if I want to do that. And now I'm like a week out from finishing. I'm about to graduate. I don't know what I'm doing, is what it feels like. But I can pretend like I know what I'm doing. But the fact that the internship got me a job that was working in a cubicle, that's part of why I was so depressed this month, is because I was working in a cubicle. I felt like a fucking zoo animal, caged in a tiny little pathetic cage, living a life eating terrible food and trapped. That's how I felt all month. I think anyone would starve themselves and binge video games 24/7 because it's miserable, it's difficult, it's painful, it's miserable. Corporate America is awful, and it's set up to kill people. Kill your soul and kill your spirit and kill your body. I mean, even if you look at the way systems are set up for health and stuff. So, oh my God. So that's where we're at. I was telling the flowers about this boy I really like. Thinking maybe they'll find a way to let him know. I talked about him before, but I talk about him all the time. His name is Nicholas. I like to say that in case anybody has discrepancy. My hair's gotten really long. So, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. the way forward to my dreams is quite simple. You have to figure out what you want. That's the first step. What do you want? Figure that out. For me, what do I want? I mean, there's things that are unrelated to career and purpose, but I want, like, to be healthy, very healthy. That's really important to me. With the foods I eat, with the products I use, with the way I take care of myself. That's always my number one. That's why I stopped smoking everything, anything. I don't smoke anything. And I stay away from that. I rarely drink alcohol. It's never been hard for me to abstain from alcohol. But, I went to a coffee shop 2 days ago, and I get anxiety. It's anxiety and autism a little bit combined, but going and doing new things is really scary for me. I have a friend, they're non-binary, and their name is Rose, and they are also autistic, and I would really maybe benefit from doing things with them because I'd have somebody, and I wouldn't be alone, and I wouldn't be so scared. I'm gonna write that down because that's actually a really good idea. Having somebody to do stuff with, especially when you're autistic, especially another autistic person, helps a lot. And Rose also works a regular job. So that could be very, very positive for me. To figure out, okay, how do you do that as an autistic person? So besides health, what I want to sing. Plain and simple. I want to sing. I want to dance. I want to do acrobatics. What else do I want to do? I want to do video games. I want to share video games with people. Playing video games with people. I want to talk to people about all the things I think about. I also want to write. I don't know, like I've postponed writing. I've been story building for years. A world that is special to me. But I haven't felt like I took it very serious, you know? I don't know if I want a business. I'm good at cleaning. I'm good at cleaning. I want to make videos. I love making videos. Love, love, love. I'm good at cleaning. I don't want to clean. I actually kind of fucking hate it. I just do it because it pays money and it's good money. But what do I want to do? Dancing, singing, acrobatics, and physical health. I sound like a performer. I did gymnastics as a little kid. I think it's important. I think that it's important that I follow my dream because I didn't do gymnastics as a little kid. I didn't I did ballet as a little kid. I did gymnastics as a little kid. I quit gymnastics because I was sensitive and I was a boy. And I don't know. Sometimes sports can be really hard on girls too and say, you know, don't be weak, don't be sensitive. But especially if you're a sensitive boy playing a sport where you maybe are supposed to be more masculine, they will just beat that out of you until you behave. So I used to just drink the juice boxes at the end of the soccer game and sit with my mom or near my mom on the side because I didn't want to get hurt or do anything that looked scary. And I was really sensitive. And the gymnastics I did a little bit, but I just remember there was times when my gymnastics teachers would say, do it, do it, do it. And I would just cry and say, I can't. And it was hard. And they'd get frustrated with me. And then I don't know why we stopped, but I stopped at some point. But it was very apparent early on that I loved gymnastics. And I did ballet, and then I was bullied. And people would say, why do you do that? You're a freak because, you know, and they probably even use the gay slur words with me. And I would probably quit ballet as a little kid, like before 8. Then at about 9 years old is when I got things that just got so dark for me. My hair changed color. It was like a bright blonde. And if you look at pictures of me at about age 8 to 9, my hair got really dark. And I just look pale and sick and miserable and traumatized. And it stayed that way for a long time. And I started ballet again as a teenager. And I started gymnastics again through dance. But it's hard. It requires a lot of resilience. Like, there's nobody helping me. There's nobody here. I have to do this all by myself, and it's very difficult, and it's sad. And the only reason it makes any sense to me is because, especially when it comes to performing and the physical body related things, so many people give up on themselves after, like, sometimes even age 20, age 25, especially age 30. They're like, I'm too old. How far could the human body go if we didn't give up on ourselves? What could we do if we decided we're not too old to dance, to sing, to do gymnastics, to learn how to do a cartwheel, you know, to paint, anything. Painting's different because you just use your hand, but things that encompass the full body. People drill that into you. You're too old for it. What if you weren't? And maybe that's why my path has been so difficult, because I need to show other people it's not too late. That's how I make meaning of my bumpy, delayed start in life. So many singers especially get so successful at a very young age, and I love singing. I actually have this belief that performers and singers and artists are not like a big one and I think the culture behind art is going to change because historically it's been, oh, there's the very successful, and then there's people who are kind of like working their way there, and then there's everyone else. But I feel like art is a big part of the human experience. And I feel like look at the fucking Egyptians. Everyone there was painting and dancing and celebrating and singing. And now we live in this culture where everyone's in a fucking cubicle and we listen to our AirPod music to listen to other singers who are too few and far between when we should all be singing. We should all be dancing. So I've been very, very alone lately. Sometimes it's a way for God to isolate you and separate you from anybody that might hold you back. And in this loneliness, I filled the people in my life with nobodies, not nobodies, but nobody who is going to take me to the next level right now. There's people with potential in my life, but potential is not the same as evidence. Fuck. Okay. So, is there anything else besides the art? I don't actually want to be a personal trainer. Like, I love help. I'm good at helping people. I have the credentials to help people. But I actually just want to do social media. My value as a person is extremely feminine, so it does not come from what I'm doing for other people. So doing a job where I'm showing up and doing things does not resonate. That's because doing is considered masculine, being is considered feminine. So getting paid for in a masculine way means you're doing something, aka you're building a piece of upholstery, you're cleaning for someone, you're doing house cleaning for someone, you're coaching someone, you're managing something, you're creating finances, blah, 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 blah. You're creating some report. You're doing a report. Doing is masculine. Being is feminine. I get paid to just show up and be in your presence, basically. And the point of being feminine is to be so energizing and positive and uplifting and inspirational that just people being around you brings value into their life. Just by being around you. They're inspired, they're uplifted, they may be like you're very, very talented or skilled in certain ways and you just love to exude those things and be those things wherever you go. Yeah, that's the nature of being feminine, is your being and your existence, your presence. Just showing up is why you're paid. Being a dancer is a very feminine job to be paid for, especially at a club, because what are you getting paid for? You're getting paid to just show up and be there and look good. You're not getting paid to serve drinks. You're not getting paid to do anything but exist in the bar. So, I'm fucking tired. We've been talking 30 minutes. I kind of should probably go. I need to make an invoice. I'm fucking tired. My business has not done very well this month at all. I've been okay. There was a woman who invited me to coffee. And I was like, okay, sure. It was on Sunday. And she canceled on me, by the way, on our first coffee date. And then our second one, I didn't show up because I was fucking exhausted. And I slept in because I've been burning the candle at both ends, but not with doing anything productive. But I'm still burning myself out, which is quite silly. Self-sabotaging, too. Sometimes we do that. We self-sabotage to the max because our nervous system is freaking out because we're changing. So I had gained a good amount of weight and I was really making progress in June, even May and June. And then sometimes your nervous system's like, what the fuck is happening? I'm used to you sitting around. I'm used to you being lazy. I'm used to you watching TV. Why are we going to the gym? Why are we pursuing business? Why are everything's growing. Everything's getting really positive. Our dreams are coming true. And I am uncomfortable because this is not familiar. So your nervous system's going to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're going to fucking sabotage the shit out of this to pull you back 10 steps so we can start all over again and I can do all those steps again. And it's really fucking annoying. But it's because our nervous system prefers comfort over even what's good for us sometimes. So if you're used to eating, cake every day, cake, no hydrating, just cake. And then you switch it up and start eating rice and chicken and broccoli and vegetables and fruits and mangoes and all this wonderful food that is going to heal your body is going to fucking freak out. Your nervous system is going to freak out and be like, even though everything you're doing is good for it, it's uncomfortable and different and new. And it prefers what it's familiar with. That's why people date people that are toxic because they're familiar with toxic. Even when they start dating someone who's healthy and kind and loving, they will sabotage that relationship and go find another person who's toxic because they're familiar with toxic. They feel safe and comfortable with toxic. They feel unsafe and uncomfortable with healthy because their nervous system isn't used to it. How to calibrate your nervous system to something that's good for you? That's hard. I don't know the answer to that. My best guess is, practice and time. But I put in the practice and the time, and then I reach a breaking point and I collapse and I spend a month of July doing fucking nothing, playing video games, 80 hours or something a week, it feels like, wasting my time, wasting my energy, wasting my life. My God, look at that. Look at the lymph node. Lymph nodes are pretty big right here. And then, what? I'm 10 steps back. I'm 10 steps back. And I'm so used to pulling myself back up and say, okay, well, get back up. But it feels like this back and forth battle of you completely fucking fall, then you start again. You make progress and things go okay. And you're grinding and you're drilling. And at some point, could be a month, could be 2 months, could be 3, you crash and you fall and you go 10 steps back again. And it sometimes feels like I'm not making any fucking progress. That's why consistency is so important when you crash. because that's kind of what carries you. But yeah, I don't know. I've lost hope of finding a boyfriend or love while I'm in New Mexico. I don't want to, there's a guy who suggested we be roommates when I moved to Washington. I don't want roommates. I'm too autistic for roommates. I don't want someone sitting on my couch. I don't want someone sitting on my dining table. I have probably $2,000 worth of stuff that I own, and I have very high standards for how they're kept. I'm a professional cleaner too, so the cleanliness of my house is, I have very high standards. And I'm very particular about things too. So I don't really want to live with anyone. But I think I'm going to wrap this video up. I'm tired. I need to try to make this invoice. I was going to call my dad about it, but I missed that opportunity. Getting up in the morning would be helpful. I'm tired. I didn't show up to my internship on Wednesday or Thursday today. I'm not getting paid for it, but it's not good. Like, good look, basically. Basically, I can't show up for things unless I'm getting paid. It's just like a subconscious thing. If they see me and my presence as worthless, aka zero money being paid to me, I see going to that and giving them any energy or time as worthless. Whenever I'm asked to work for free, I rarely fucking show up. And if I do, like, I am trying to leave as soon as possible. I don't give a shit about being there. Like, I struggle. And the reason is because when I ask people to show up for me, I value them and I pay them because I see the value they bring equates to money. Money is a marker for value. So when you're not giving anyone money for their energy, time, or service, you're telling them your energy, your time, your service, everything you're doing is fucking worthless. You're worthless. That's what you're telling them when you don't pay people. People that volunteer are telling their subconscious, this work I'm doing is worthless. Now, people who volunteer would disagree with that. They'd say, it helps the community, or it helps this cause, or it helps XYZ, and there's value in that, even if I don't see the dollar bill. That's true. However, we should live in a world where everything that's of value should give you value in money. That's the world we should live in. Every time you do something of value, the person who does the thing of value and the person who receives the thing of value both should understand that value equals money. Okay? Because I think the problem is so many people expect people to show up for free and give energy, time, and value for free out of the good of their heart. And then those same people do things for other people out of the good of their heart, hoping it all rounds out and comes back with like a good Samaritan law of we're all going to be good and do good for each other and look out for each other. And there's no metric to measure how much good one person does versus how much good another person does, and the value those different values, those different levels of good attribute to, not like when you pay them. Someone could make a beautiful dining room table, and that equates to $400 of value. Someone else could make a stool, and that equates to $50 of value. But if they're both working for free and living in a way where they're like, oh, I'm just going to do good and it'll all come back to me, and maybe they're trading, like, I'll make you a stool and you make me a table, and that's fair because we're both doing nice things for each other. Okay, but they're not worth the same. A dining room table is worth more than a stool. Everything we fucking do in this world should be paid, valued, and given money. It's quite simple. The way we create money is oftentimes through Earth's resources. So like gold coins, gold is from Earth. Paper is from trees. That's why the element of Earth is associated with money, because it's our physical representation of how we demonstrate value. But yeah, I didn't show up to my internship because they see me as worthless, essentially, with my own philosophy. They don't see me as worthless. They love the work I do. They're grateful for it, whatever. But the pay is not there. The money is not there. It's free. And I just completely lose all will to give a crap if you think the work I'm doing is worthless. Whether you think it's good or not, if you're not paying me or you're not paying me what it's worth, I can't even fucking go. And the same goes for, like, it's part of why it's hard for me to work regular jobs, is because making like $10 fucking an hour, $7 an hour, and I know goddamn well the value I'm bringing to your business is well higher than that, and all that extra value isn't just disappearing. That extra value is going straight to my boss. Same thing happens at like a Walmart. Walmart employees bring much more value to the business than they're paid. And that value cut from paying their employees less is why Walmart prices are allowed to be so low. And not only that, but the money that a Walmart makes, that money trickles up to the CEOs. That's how it works. And I know when I'm being siphoned and used by a business, when I'm maybe bringing the business $20, $25 an hour, and I'm getting 10. That extra 15, hypothetically, this is just hypothetical, is right. I rightfully fucking deserve, because it's value I brought into the world for the business or for the world around me. And I deserve all of that value in my pocket. And the extra money, if you work for other people who don't understand how this stuff works, it gets siphoned up to the people at the top. So they're like literal vampires, siphoning all the energy and value from everyone below them to become richer and stronger and better, while they struggle and are little vampires stealing from people. And I'm just like so acutely aware of that when it's happening to me. And I feel drained, and it feels like it's killing my soul, and I cannot show up, and I don't give a fuck, and it's awful. That's how I feel about college sometimes too. But I need to maybe just start seeing it as going to the gym, getting a little bit of money every day to help me make my dreams come true, instead of thinking of it in this big systemic way that is frustrating, Just a little bit of money to get myself to my dreams so I can liberate myself. But I'm going to let you go. Thanks for watching. And I'll try to be posting. And August is my month. August is my month. And August is my month because I'm on the fucking calendar for August. I love you. I'll talk to you later.